Record. Almost got that face on recording. Okay, guys. So I'm going to get straight into it with what I want to cover tonight. So we just talked about communication. The second part was...
Do you want to just quickly, briefly run over so anybody who watches the recording can...
So with the communication, for anyone who's watching the recording, Mark, Helen, Rach and I, we just spoke about the importance of communication and being in constant communication. So it's also in terms of being our word and being on these calls. And this is like an accountability type conversation, and it's not to hold any particular one person to account. Rather, it's to have us all win as a team. We all need to be on these calls, and we all need to be in constant communication with each other if we are to be in the top 3 teams, which is what we all want. And what that means to be in the top 3 teams is not just to win that Melbourne trip and all that stuff that it comes with, but to actually impact hundreds of people's lives across New Zealand, Australia, and the world. So that's the game we're up for, and it's going to take, like we said on the last call, a really, really high level of communication. And I know you guys are up for that. So yeah, that's what we just chatted about. And as we go into the competition, we'll talk about it further one-on-one and on the rest of these group calls. It'll keep coming up as an important topic in the conversation and for the team, because communication is literally everything. Did you want to say anything else?
Yeah, just that everyone is more than capable, and we tell ourselves that we're not, and that is the only thing that stands in between anybody achieving their goals and not achieving them. And that's it. It's just ourselves.
Yeah. Cool. And Rach and I were at Personal Development Weekend, the leadership program weekend last weekend, and we wanted to share quickly about the fear of failure. And I just want to really cover it really quickly, and definitely not as probably not as well as it got covered over the weekend. But the fear of failure is there for all of us, all the time. All the time. It's never not going to be there for us. It's there for all the people, in IsaRally who are millionaires, and all the great leaders in the world still have that fear of failure. And I know that some of us, from the conversations Rach and I have had with you guys, there is a fear there of failing, of even a fear of being successful. But there's a fear, and we just want you to be settled, and that's completely normal, and we all experience it. Rach and I experience it too. The difference is we don't let it stop us. Like, we're just not willing. Our stand for the world and what we want for health in the world is so much bigger than our fear of failure or fear of anything that could get in our way. And so the thing I wanted to distinguish and bring to this whole conversation is that performance and fear of failure, they can't exist in the same realm. So fear of failure is simple. You know what fear of failure, you're scared of failing. You're scared of like getting something wrong, or you're scared of, that what might happen if it doesn't go the way, you think it should go. So all that stuff is one realm. And then the other is performance, which performance is just being able to perform no matter what the circumstances are, no matter how you feel, no matter how others feel, no matter what's going on around you, you're still able to perform. And the difference is when you have fear of failure and you have performance, you can actually still perform with that fear there. So there's nothing special about Rach and I, or even, Adam and Bianca, or any other person doing well in isogenics or any area of life. The only difference is that we don't let that fear of failure stop us, and we keep performing. And the analogy I was sharing with Helen the other day was, when you're driving a racing car, or when a high performance racing car driver is driving a racing car, they probably get scared at times, and they probably have all sorts of thoughts and feelings going on, but that doesn't stop them from keeping their foot on the accelerator. They just keep their foot on the pedal the whole time, because they know they've got a race to win. They know they have to perform to be able to win that race and come first. So the point is, like, whatever fears, whatever stuff you guys have got going on, that I'm not saying they're not valid completely. They're valid for you, but they don't necessarily need to they need to stop you from performing in your life and performing in this competition. So I don't really want to say too much about that, but just to start the call off with that it's okay to have your fears there, and it's okay to be afraid, like a failure of whatever you're afraid of, and you can actually keep performing and keep in communication with us at the same time, and we'll be able to get you out of whatever rut you've got going on, and that's what we're here for, the whole team.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, feel the fear and do it anyway. And the more you do that, the more used to it you get, and you're like, oh, okay, I recognize this, but I'm just going to do it anyway. The biggest thing is communication, guys. Like, when you're feeling that way, just gaining communication, and it's the last thing that you want to do, and it's always the thing that you should do. I
hate it. I honestly hate getting communication.
I'm always like to him, you need to get in communication with our coach, because Isaac used to resist it real hard out, because he's done a lot of self-development. He often does.
I try and figure it out myself. Yeah. I've got it all handled, but it does. Trust me, it doesn't work. You just, some things you can sort like that out yourself. If you're like me, you go, yeah, I got it all handled, but there'll be some things you just can't, and there's no point in keeping it to yourself. You just got to communicate and say something to someone.
And for us, don't think that there's not a fear of us going into this competition. It's the first one they're having in New Zealand. We're leading you guys, and of course there's apprehension. Those thoughts come up for me, will I do it, will I do a good job, will I be the leader that I need to be for my team. But the only way I'm ever going to learn is by stepping up and doing it, and I just have to try and be awesome at it or fail at it, but whatever it is, there will be a lesson. And that's what Adam said to us, is regardless of whether you succeed or don't succeed, in the word of succeed, win, there'll still be a lesson inside of that. That's all we can do, and that's the only way we'll ever forward ourselves.
Yeah.
Yep. Can I just quickly add something as well? I've noticed in the past several days for myself is that I've had feelings of not wanting to do it, right? But that's that whole fear of actually getting rejected or saying it wrong or burning my relationships by saying the wrong thing, and that. So there's that fear there. But what's been also powerful is actually knowing the why as well. So there's the element of performing in the face of that fear and actually still doing it anyway. But also what's powerful is you guys, I know you guys have big enough reason as to why we're actually doing this. And it's actually bigger than yourselves, and it's probably bigger than our group altogether. And that's also something that drives you. And I've got my own reasons why. And I think that's what's pulled me through from actually making no calls during the day yesterday to getting in touch with a number of people yesterday evening. So I think that's just what I wanted to add, is that if you've got a big enough reason and a big enough why, that will also push you through your fears as well.
Awesome. Yeah, so true, Mark. So true. And that brings us on to one of the things that we wanted you guys to do, which is watching the Peter Kelly why video. That really was the first point for me, where I was really able to start to oh my God, discover my why, have it be real present for me. And just, I would think about it and I just cry. And when you've got a why that makes you cry, whatever it is that you want for the world, when it's so much bigger than you that you couldn't even, you couldn't fit it in a room or in New Zealand, it's just huge, and it's just so much energy. I just think that you'll do anything, you'll just walk through brick walls to have that happen for the people or the planet, whatever it is.
Exactly. Well, I want to keep this call short, so I'm going to go straight into I wanted to give you guys a bit of training on the call. So Mark, I know you'll know a few of these things already, but it doesn't hurt to cover them off again for yourself. The rest of you might too as well. But Helen, some of it will be new for you, probably most of it. So we're just going to go through a few of these things, and I'm going to screen share so you guys can see what I'm doing. So let's go over to here. So, cool. Let's start off with podcasts. So this page I've got up here, SoundCloud, Isagenix, ANZ. You want to take note of this page. If you don't have it in your favorites already, just note it down or add it somewhere on your phone.
We'll put it in the group chat as well.
Yeah, we'll put a few notes in the group chat after this. But take note of this because there are so many good podcasts on this page, amazing podcasts, like health related as well as business related. So, how to schedule your time effectively. And all the people that do these calls are platinum earners, so they're Isagenix millionaires. So going back to basics, how to plan for success with your IsaBody challenge, improving business through body transformations. That was Adam's call. How to communicate effectively. Look, we were just literally talking about that. So I haven't even listened to that one. So that's going to be the first one I listen to after this. So there's just so many calls and you can go all the way back for a while. And, when I first started, I listened to these calls religiously, weekly. They're on live at 10 p.m. every Monday night, tonight, 10 p.m. So you can listen to the next one live. Or you can just, listen to the recordings on here if you're not able to listen to it live.
Can I just say one thing about the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started, I got results on the products. I felt good, my sleep was good. My energy levels were good. I cut out sugar and stuff like that, as a lot of you have heard me share. But the two things that really had me be like, oh my God, Isagenix, is a platform to change the world, were coming to events and seeing people and then listening to podcasts. I used to listen to a podcast every day. I had a job out west and I used to drive there and drive home, and I'd listen to half on the way home and half on the way back. And I just used to drive along, and sometimes I'd just be driving along, I remember listening to this one podcast and I was so fired up. I was just like, fuck yes! Driving along the road, literally just shouting stuff in my car, because I was like, this is frigging incredible. And some of the ones by Peter Kelly and stuff, just amazing. And yeah, I can't recommend podcasts enough. They're so awesome.
100%. And this is just one of them from Isagenix. There's also there's a wider team that started off in America called the Take Action team, and it's the fastest growing Isagenix team in the world. And we just happen to be under the umbrella of that wider team for Isagenix. So it started in America, it went to Australia, it's in New Zealand. We're effectively under that whole bracket. So that team has some insane podcasts every week. And if you go and download Podomatic, we'll put this in the notes as well, but if you want to write it down, Podomatic, Podomatic, you can listen to some awesome podcasts, and you just search up, all one word, Take Action Team.
Yeah,
those have got some.
Those are amazing. Those are the ones
podcasts
that I used to listen to. Ridiculous stuff about the products. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that they've done that. That they've made this for the products. There's bodybuilders that have done stuff on there and all kinds of stuff. It's awesome. It's
a cool, they're all done as interview style, all these podcasts. So it's just someone getting asked questions that, people want to hear answers to. So, you just look for the topic that you want to listen to. The calls that come up each week, you can listen to those live as well.
Yeah, and I remember the guy that leads them one time was at the beginning, he's like, we've got Australia on the line, we've got America on the line, we've got Northern America, we've got Canada, we've got Wellington, Australia, and I was like, all the Kiwis must have just been like, what the heck? Because he knows New Zealand and Australia, but obviously not geographically, and it was so funny.
Yeah, he's a legend, Warren Lance.
Yeah,
that's right.
He's awesome.
And so the next, if you guys have any questions, after we've finished talking about a particular topic, just feel free to unmute yourself and just ask away. So the next one is anz.isagenixbusiness.com. And this is for people who not only are doing the business, but actually, if Mark, you were there at the event, ICUni, it's also for people who are looking to share the products with people to get their products paid for. So when you're either wanting to look into yourself or share it with someone else that you've introduced to Isagenix and they want to know how to get the products paid for, literally you send them, this is the first place you send them. Start here, the basics, on anz.isagenixbusiness.com. And literally all they have to do, we get given all the tools, they just follow all these steps here. So step 1, use the products. Learn about IsaBody Challenge, Healthy Mind and Body. Step 2, and step 2 is what you guys want to look at too. And I know, Mark, Helen, you guys have made lists before. But you just, and I saw you, Helen, as well, when you were sitting next to me making your fast start list, your wedding list and your dream team list. And this is what this part's all about. And also about creating a 30-second story to effectively share your sort of isogenic story with people as well.
Yeah, and I wouldn't get caught up in like I haven't had like a crazy health transformation yet or anything like that, because literally like my first 6 months on the products, like, yes, I lost like 4 kg and I put on, well, in my first 30 days, I lost 6 weeks, I lost like 4 kg. But you couldn't tell. Like if someone looked at me, they couldn't tell because I've always been slim, right? So it wasn't like Rachel Phillips where I had this huge like transformation where I was like went from really big to really small. But my sleep and stuff was good. Like I was sleeping better. I felt more happy. I was easier to be around. Like my energy levels were better. I found like I wasn't having to like reach for coffee and sugar and stuff as much. So those changes can be put into your 30-second story rather than you having to be like, I lost 20 kgs. Like,
and there's a template. So it's all given to you here. You just stick to that template. It's really easy to share. And it's how we share at our launch parties as well. And I'll let you guys go through the rest. It's straightforward. There's nothing really to it. But I highly recommend, whether you've gone through it or not before, go through it again, because things have changed on this even since I last looked at it. So I'll be looking through it. Cool. So anz.isogenicsbusiness.com. Real key. And the next piece I wanted to cover was scheduling. And if I go back to this one here, there's at the very top, there's a podcast called How to Schedule Your Time Effectively. That's led by Heidi McKellen, who was there over the weekend, the IsaUni event. And she just dropped some golden nugget bombs in this podcast. So just listen to it, take it all in. It'll be great, not only just for isogenics, but actually for your whole life, like being able to schedule your time effectively in your life, if you're wanting a breakthrough in that as well. So take that on, and just to show you guys what a sense of what our diary looks like. Here it is. We use Google Calendar. All the stuff in pink is a mixture of Rachel's and mine. But you can use colors. You can. I specifically like to color code if I just, mine's not completely filled in, but orange is my cleaning jobs I have, and then blue is my isogenics tasks, and cleaning with my baby. That's me cleaning with Rachel that day. And then there's green, which is personal growth and development and business development. So I've got a coaching meeting with my business coach. So this is just an example of what yours could look like, but you can literally do whatever you want with your calendar.
Do you want to flick mine back on and I'll just show them?
Yeah, and then if you want to look at Rachel's.
I schedule everything because else I don't do anything. So like if we just take today, for instance, I knew I wanted to wake up, literally like clean the kitchen, shower, meditate before I left the house. So I did all of those things. We had a call with VJ, then I cleansed, so I didn't go to the gym. But then, I've got like, I did like 10 calls there where I touched base with some of the team and reached out to new people.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I had a 3-way call booked. And then I had a meetup booked. And then I just did more like messaging people, and I call it a power hour. I'll do like 10 contacts in an hour where I just reach out to like maybe 10 people. Maybe people have messaged me, I message them back. I try and reach out to some new contacts in that time. And then I had a call with Danny, and then met up with Holly to get her sorted on her product. So, I broke it down into 4 key areas, like basically that all my life, like on a daily basis, should fall into with my business coach. And one of those is like health. So in that I class like meditation, like cooking my food, going to the gym, like all of those things. then I broke it down into, like, he calls it networking, but like meeting new people, touching base with my team. Like, so this would be, I've got 10 minutes left, a team thing, because I'm on the call to you guys, and then just like follow-ups, like reaching out to people that I've spoken to, or that are interested, or people I need to invite to the launch party, and everything in my day should fall into like one of those 4 categories. And then we broke it down into how much time I need to spend on each of those, and blah, blah, blah. But if you want to know all of that stuff, like, just message me and I can let you know. And I'll put a little bit about this in like a simple version of it in the chat.
Yeah. And guys, this is so key. Like, without Rach
makes it simple, because I just despised scheduling. Like, honestly, if I can schedule, like, puppies can schedule, because I hated it. I didn't want to have a structure at all. I resisted it for so long.
Yeah, and you
still do.
You really do. Like, tips that I could give that really work is you do want to every day, like, review what you're doing the next day.
Yeah.
And, making sure you've scheduled for the next day at least. And also weekly even too. Like, Rach and I just reviewed last night what we've got planned for the next week. And then we'll do the same thing next Sunday night. So those are just a couple of good tips. No doubt you'll probably hear similar things in the call with Heidi McCallum as well, the scheduling time effectively. So I highly recommend listening to that one, and just start with one thing at a time. Just start, scheduling in, things like, making 3 contacts, or scheduling in, okay, I'm going to the gym workout, for your IsaBody challenge, or whatever it is that you're really committed to and you're part of the journey, your journey right now.
Yeah, just baby steps. You don't have to get overwhelmed and try and do everything. Just like one, even if you just take one thing away from this, it will make a difference.
Yeah, because I remember being actually at a launch party for Heidi McCallum, and her calendar did look a bit like this. And I was just like,
it was like intense. Like, man, she had like automated emails going on and like all this stuff. And I just started in IsaGenics, and I just looked at what she was talking about, and I was like, I'm never going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Never, ever. That's what I thought. I was really new, and I was like, oh my God, this woman's crazy.
But she's right, and it works. And once you get it all down and you create a system for yourself that works for you, it's just makes everything so much easier. Like, your whole day, you don't have to think, oh, what do I have next? And, oh, did I commit to that? What time was it? It's all just down there, and you don't have to be cluttering your brain up with all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's that. And you kind of covered, I was going to talk about income producing activities. Rach covered a few of them, and we call it IPA, or income producing activities. They really are just the things that help you produce an income with IsaGenics. And that's things like 3-way calls, inviting people to events, whether it be launch parties or the bigger events. It's basically anything that is going to help you produce an income out of this, having people at events and calls.
And I think when you're in the beginning, like, launch parties are so easy to get people to. You'll just find that, like, you'll just be like, hey, like, come along to this thing, like, speak to my friends, find out about it. It's based around health. It's going to be a heap of fun. Like, people want to do that stuff. It's like fun. It's, it's socializing. If they're looking for a health change, like, so I would say, like, getting people along to launch parties in the beginning is just because someone else does all the talking for you.
So much easier. It's so much more fun and natural. Like, people coming over to your house to just, for an in-home info event where they can check out all about health and, their own health goals, and actually chat about something that is important to them. Like, the people that end up coming, health is important to them. That's why they come along. Mm-hmm. And so we get to, like, have fun chatting about that, trying out some cool products, And that's what it's all about. And when you break it down to that, it's really easy to invite people to something like that. And one tip I can give from my own experience is, don't be weird about it. You're inviting them over to your house, to hang out, to find out about something that you're really interested in and you want to share with people. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, it's not weird. It's just normal. It's just it's just the new normal. That's all.
Yeah.
Just before we finish off, because we're kind of to the end now, but like, I just want to share something that I got for myself, which was, you got one more thing. Okay. I was just sharing it on a call with a guy, David, in our team, which was that I say that I'm a stand for people's health, but when it comes to the uncomfortable conversation of, this is going to change your health, or, you know, you could end up with, like, I don't want to say like you could end up with health issues, but you know, this is something that can really make a difference in your health. And like, you will, you know, you're putting the right stuff in your body, you're going to get the right output of whatever it is you're looking for. If I'm not having those straight conversations, then the fact that I'm saying that I'm committed to people's health is just rubbish. It's just utter rubbish, and I'm just kidding myself. So the conversation I had with him was kind of difficult, because I had to say to him, look, does, you know, eating the cheese, all that cheese that you're eating and you're overweight, really serve you? And I didn't want to have that conversation, but I did, because what I'm committed to is changing people's health, and I'm going to have to break through some things to have those conversations. Helen, you're really good at having those conversations, so you know what I'm talking about. To get to have people see that this is really making a difference for them. And when I was talking to Isaac about, when you're coming from a place of you just want to contribute, you just want to make a difference to that person, that's all that they hear. You could literally just speak Swahili and they would still get that you were just committed to their health, and there's nothing else going on for you. So that's it.
Yeah, awesome. And the last thing I wanted to cover, which is literally, I would call it like our biggest secret, but it's not really a secret. It's what Rach and I and a whole lot of the top business builders in our team use to be able to effectively get people present to their why, to what's important to them for their health or their income goals, if they're interested in the income opportunity of Isagenix. So what that is under the residual income equals time freedom page. When you click on files, when you click on files and you scroll down, the third to bottom one here called Cake Recipe for the Why. So download this and read through it. And it's such a simple format of questions, and you just click save, that anyone can follow. So easy.
And it's also a podcast. So where this document comes from is a podcast by Jackson Parr, who, he's like 26 and a millionaire and just bosses it. He's really good at finding people's why super quick. So one of our team actually created this Word document after listening to that podcast. So I'll put the podcast on our group chat as well. Yeah. It's amazing.
Cool. So it's literally 7 questions. I'm not going to go through all of them, but download that document. And I promise you, if you commit this to heart, when you're talking to people, and you don't have to ask the exact question it says, can I ask you a few questions, see if I can help? That's kind of a natural question. But, you know, something like what's your ultimate goal? Depends who you're talking to. If you're talking to your best mate, you might just go, so what do you want? Like, you know, what's the thing you want most for your health? Or what's the best thing you could ever imagine for your health? Or whatever you want to say, you know? But the general format is what you want to follow. And people, like, literally, I've actually made people cry when I've gone through this format of questions with them, because they got so present to where they're at with their health currently, how the predictable future will look like for their health as they keep going. And, you know, and then what is it that they can do about it now? What could it look like for the future if they were to actually have their goals achieved in reality? And, you know, it's that process of going through that, and people just get taken, you know, through that whole process, and they just fall in love with their why and get present to their why, and see Isagenix as an opportunity to be able to fulfill on that, whatever that may be. So we're about to finish up. So that was basically the end of the call. And did you guys have any questions just before it's probably like 30 seconds left? No?
All good. All good down this end, guys. Thanks for doing that.
No worries. And we'll be speaking to you guys over the next few days before we finalize the team at the end of this week.
And just keep being in communication on that group message. And Mark, there was sometimes I know you go off on a tangent, and I love it because you're just so fully self-expressed. But just keep it about IsaRally basically. And about launch parties, cool.
And if it's anything you're dealing with, then obviously we want to know like what spaces you guys are in. Yeah. If you're disempowered as well.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. So great to see you both.
Yeah, love you guys.
Okay, cool. Good. Good to see you guys.
On the next call, Matt.
Yeah. On the next call.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye, Helen.